name is Melissa Hochheimer, and I'm doing the literacy project on a student that we will call D for the sake of the project. The student that I'm choosing, D, is in kindergarten. He has autism spectrum disorder and has an IEP that focuses in on handwriting and early literacy. He is strong with numbers and is well liked among his peers, so his main focuses are reading and writing. He is super motivated to be a successful reader, which makes him a joy to work with. However, it's definitely an area that he struggles with. He's able to decode some words and has a few sight words mastered, but he is a much stronger visual learner. It's hard for him to connect the sounds that he's reading with the meaning of each word, which makes comprehension really hard for him. Also, the time it takes to decode certain words takes away from his reading fluency and also makes it harder to comprehend what he's reading as a whole. With the adapted book that I created, D can learn some basic literacy skills, such as reading from left to right, the structure of sentences, the flow of text, as well as the important skill of connecting words with their meaning. A couple articles that I read were in support of this type of AAC for students like D. An article by Light in 2003 shared some benefits in using AAC to teach emergent literacy. That's what they called it. She explains that not all literacy is attached to the actual reading of words, which makes literacy development possible when using AAC or symbols to read. Another article that I read speaks specifically about AAC for students who have autism. In her article, Rao shares that students with autism tend to learn better visually, which I've realized with my student D, than in other ways, and that a picture or symbol system is a great way to teach students in an effective way. Another thing that she mentions is that pictures help students remain focused when reading, which D could also use some help with. So for my project, I chose a book titled How Do I Love You, which I felt was pretty appropriate and just a fun read for kindergartners. And I adapted it by adding symbols, not necessarily word for word, but at least phrase by phrase for each page. So I can show you an example. The first page says, How do I love you? And I use the symbols, How I love you. Another example of one of the pages says, I love you, same as Bear loves spring. So I adapted the book in that way. And then I created an expressive device, which is just a simple folder with the same symbols on it. At the top, it says the common phrase that's throughout the book, which is I love you, same as, or equal sign. And then I have a Velcro here, a love, and another Velcro dot here. At the bottom, I put this envelope. And the way I set it up is that the symbols on each page can be removed, the sun and the sky, and put in this envelope. When it's time to go over comprehension of the story, the student can reach in the envelope, find the two pictures that match, and place them on either side of the love. This is both testing comprehension as well as working memory in terms of the story being just read. It also just works with comparison and finding similar things that go together and putting them on the board. Instruction occurs every day in the morning right before the classroom does their daily 5 time with reading. So it'll be a perfect introduction or warm-up to build his confidence and excitement for reading right before he can head on back to his classroom and engage in other reading activities. We go into it's kind of a storage closet, but there's plenty of room. It'll be one-on-one situation with the teacher and the student. We first start with the handwriting. We do a curriculum already. And then for the last 5-10 minutes, we'll go through this book. Unfortunately, I did not get permission to work with my actual student, so I found the next best thing. The environment is set up where I am sitting directly next to the student. The student is at a desk, and it's just us two in the classroom. So to instruct with this book, I will first model how it's used. So I'll start with the first page. I will point to have one-to-one correspondence with the symbols that I'm reading. Now I will show the student how to read. I will say, how I love you, me count. Now it'll be their turn. I will say, you try. And if they don't understand, I'll remodel the same page and see if they can do it. Next, I will go on to the next page. I love you, same as sun loves sky. You try. Now I will guide the student to try the same thing, using their finger once again to do one-to-one correspondence, each symbol connected to a word. I chose a book that repeats the same phrase a lot. It has the phrase, I love you, same as, on most of the pages. So that'll be helpful for the student to get the system of the symbols down because they repeat a lot. But you also need to make sure they're not just repeating themselves and actually doing one-to-one correspondence with each symbol. So they're actually reading the story and not just repeating it from memory. Once we finish the story, I will take all those symbols off, not all of them, but the ones from the bottom, off the book and put them in the envelope for the student to use. I will then ask the student to choose one symbol from the envelope and read the prompt with me that says, I love you, same as, blank loves blank. The student chose duck. I will have the student place duck on the first side of love, and then I will ask the student, what do you think should go on the other side of love? If they remember, great. Then we will find that symbol from the envelope and put it on this other side. If they don't remember, I will choose two symbols from the envelope, one that's the correct symbol and one that is not, and ask them to distinguish between the two. They will then choose the correct symbol, put it on the other side, and we will read the sentence together. I love you, same as duck loves rain. Great job. And that will be the end of our instruction.